Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Wednesday. It is the 27th day of July 2022. I hope that this Wednesday finds you and your family safe and healthy. Blessings on you and your family. I hope that the needs of your family and yourself in terms of food and shelter, clothing, and health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field and the first responders who every day deal with emergencies that sometimes risk their own lives to save lives. Blessings also upon those that pick up garbage to keep streets and sidewalks and homes and parkways clean. And those that make deliveries for our convenience that we take for granted, like food. Double blessings on the men and women that are trying to help deliver and rescue and recover the teenagers and the children who are the victims of child molestation and pedophilia. Also the victims of pornography and child also pornography. The victims of prostitution and child prostitution. The victims of sex trafficking, human sex slavery and human trafficking. And may the Most High doubly curse those perpetrators, those profiteers, and those perverts who are out here trafficking in the human misery. Finally, blessings upon those that are homeless. There are nearly 600,000 men, women, children that live on the streets of the United States of America. And there are millions of people, including children, around the world in worse conditions. May blessings be poured upon them, for theirs is the kingdom, and if anyone can help, please do. So, we're going into we're in an off season. We're in now free agency period. We're in now trading period. And there's been a lot of talk, as we know, about Donovan Mitchell. But today I want to focus on something else, because there's another thing that's very key to the Knicks taking that next step. We talked about the Knicks won 41 games out of 72 games 2 years ago. Last year they won 37 games, took a slight step back. And we can go into the reasons why, but I'm not going to vomit all that out right now. But this year, we're expecting another step forward. I'm expecting a minimum of 45 wins from the Knicks this year. And one of the reasons, or two of the reasons I'm expecting, and this is regardless of whether the Knicks acquire Donovan Mitchell or not. It's regardless. The reason I'm expecting that is really two main reasons. Number one, we have Jalen Brunson, who is a real point guard, a lifetime point guard. He's always been the point guard on every team. He's a winner. We've talked about that. He's gritty. He's tough. He's very high IQ. He plays 100% every game like it's his last game, every play. Because this is the first time in a long time that we've had a full-time regular point guard. This is going to improve the Knicks. It's going to improve everybody. It's going to improve even Julius Randle if he's still on the Knicks, which that's now questionable. But if it will improve Julius Randle, it will improve Mitchell Robinson, it will improve every player on the team, because over the last several years, at least going back to the Jeff Hornacek years, we haven't had a consistent play at the point guard position for various reasons, which we don't go into. But one of them has been the coaches, one of them has been the players, one of them has been the organization. There's been all of that has been hindering the Knicks at that particular position, and it's been well documented. But with Jalen Brunson, that problem is solved. Okay. And so if you look at other teams, for example, I like to look at the Phoenix Suns. If you look at the Phoenix Suns and look at the games of Mikal Bridges, let's say, or of course, Devin Booker. Look at the game of DeAndre Ayton. Look at the game of these guys with CP3 at the point. And look at them without CP3. You will see two different games. That's how important a point guard is. Okay? To all the development of the players. All right. Now, I'm not saying Jalen Brunson is CP3, but he is a regular point guard. Somebody you can count on. Somebody you can pencil in a certain amount of minutes, stats, so on and so forth. But you're going to get what you expect from him. that's going to bring the games of everyone up, but there's one particular guy. Well, two up. Mitchell Robinson, I mentioned. It's going to really help Mitchell Robinson a lot. But R.J. Barrett. Because R.J. Barrett, if you look at his stats, he's struggled from three. I mean, I say struggled. I mean, he's not over 40% consistently from three. I don't want to say struggle because he shot 34% in his rookie year, which you kind of expect from a rookie. His second year at age 20, he shot 40% from three. And then this past year, he shot 34. He went and regressed again. But again, look at who his point guards have been. Okay? Look at who his point guards have been. The year he shot 40% from three, Tom Thibodeau, for good or bad, he stuck with Elfrid Payton at the point guard for most of that season. He also stuck with Reggie Bullock on the wing. And what would Reggie Bullock do for R.J. Barrett? He plays high-level defense. The fact that you can rely, R.J. really thrives in a team defensive system, scheme. He can play one-on-one defense. He took on the challenge of playing the hardest player on the opposing team this past season, and he took his lumps. But if you put him in a good team defensive concept, a Tom Thibodeau defensive concept, he's going to be really good on defense. And he showed it in that year. And I don't think it was a fluke that he shot 40% from three that year. Okay? So you add a Jalen Brunson, and either you put next to him a Quentin Grimes or a Donovan Mitchell. So if we walked away from the Mitchell deal, which I don't think they're going to do, because I'm looking on the landscape, and it's up to Danny Ainge, but he's not getting a better deal than what the Knicks can offer for anybody. See, people focus on, like, say, Toronto can offer picks. Yes, they can. They can offer 4 unprotected picks, but that's cleaning their cupboards. I don't think Donovan Mitchell is worth cleaning your cupboards over, and I know Masai Ujiri ain't doing that. So everybody's really trying to get away with giving Danny Ainge 3 unprotected picks. That's what they're trying to do. The Knicks can offer 4 unprotected and a 5th and still have 5 picks in the next 5 years. So all y'all that was down in the Dom for getting all those protected picks, how stupid are y'all now? Because he still got 5 picks, which are going to convey between now and, let's say, 2027. They're all going to convey. So we're the only team in that position that could give 5 picks and still have 5 picks. Okay? So, and that's assuming we give them a protected pick. We don't have to do that. We could just give them the 4 unprotected picks, keep all of our picks, and now we got 6 number ones in the next 5 years. And then the young talent we're giving them is perfect for this type of deal. Okay. So I don't think anybody could beat our deal. In fact, nobody can. I'm pretty confident nobody can. So it's up to Danny Ainge, whether he wants to take it or doesn't want it, or if he wants to pull Donovan Mitchell off the market and keep him. We'll be all right either way. So we're talking about RJ though. If you put RJ next to Grimes full time, Grimes is a high level defender on the level of Reggie Bullock. He's a spot up shooter like Reggie Bullock. He's probably a better playmaker. You put RJ next to him with a real point guard and Jalen Brunson, you're going to open up the floor for RJ. From his rookie year, he's been bully balling everybody in the league. So now you give him a little space to improve his jump shot. And that's what he has to do. Be more consistent from 3. And I believe, the work that RJ is going to put in, or I know he's putting in, he's going to do that. Age 22 now. And so you're going to have him take that next level. 20 points a game this past season. 46-point game we know about. Okay. Couple of rebounding games in the 15 range. This is the kid we talking about, what we got. So he takes the next step and he's going to be an all-star. And if he's an all-star, you got an all-star level player at the 3 spot. That alone, with the other elevations I told you about in terms of the improvement of an Obi Toppin with a regular point guard, a real point guard. Look what Obi did with Darius Garland in some of the, it was just a summer league game, but that gives you an example of what he can do if he's got a real point guard. And so that solves a lot of problems for RJ, and it puts RJ on another level. You put RJ with a real point guard and you just have the same progression of development that we've had over the last 3 years with him. And it's been steady. 14 points a game, I think 17 points a game, then 20 points a game. There's been a progression with him without a point guard. You give him a real point guard in Brunson. You put Grimes next to him on the wing that can defend. And you bring in now with a high level of 5-man defense on a Tom Thibodeau system. And we're going to really be good with RJ Barrett. And he's going to be really good. Because one thing Brunson does that we've been missing, which a lot of you guys know, is drive and kick. He can drive and kick consistently. So you get him driving and kicking, and then you see, I told y'all, don't sleep on Grimes' playmaking ability. Because he can playmake. And he can hit the open three himself. This is going to create problems for the NBA. Now, if you add a Donovan Mitchell instead of a Grimes, while you may be shorter, obviously, 6'4", he's like 6'4", I think Grimes is at least 6'4". He might be closing in on 6'5", but he's 6'4". Could give him that. And then you got 6'1" Donovan Mitchell. You're going to give up some height. But the force that Donovan Mitchell is, and he is a force. In other words, the energy he would bring, the threat that he is as an offensive player, as a player, opens up the floor for RJ Barrett even more. Okay. So between him and Jalen Brunson, whichever way this goes, RJ is going to take a step forward, and RJ's leap forward. If you get RJ Barrett, let's look at some stats. Let's say RJ Barrett scores 24 a game. I'm kind of expecting 24 a game from him. I'm expecting him to actually be the number one option this year with a real point guard. You get RJ Barrett at 24 a game. You get RJ Barrett shooting 38%. Let's call it 37.5 from three. You get RJ Barrett on a better defensive team as a unit. You want to talk, what if we had Jimmy Butler? Because that's what we'd be looking at. A better version of Jimmy Butler. What if we had Jimmy Butler? That's what you're looking at right there. Okay? That's big time. Now, again, I'm not saying the Knicks are going to the finals this year. Some of you will be, well, can they bring us to the chip? Don't be stupid. We're in 3-year rebuild. This is Tom Thibodeau's 3rd season. Okay? Let's see what happens. But 45 wins plus is not unrealistic. You know, shooting for that 6 to 8 seed is not unrealistic. You get a Donovan Mitchell, and like I said, you're talking 50 plus. But with RJ Barrett taking that all-star leap, which I believe he will take, getting into that 20, 23, 24 points a game range, becoming more efficient. I guess that's what I'm saying. Becoming more efficient, because that's been his problem. 2 problems RJ has. His problem is not on defense. Some of y'all just, I don't know what you're seeing, but he plays excellent defense. He just needs good team defenders around him. He could play one-on-one defense, but if you don't expect him to guard the toughest guy every night, he can be even better. But offensively, he's a mid-range game. He needs a consistent mid-range game because he gets into the key when he wants to, pretty much. So you get him into the key. If he can consistently hit the floater, the mid-range shot, and then, of course, hit his spot-up threes, it's lights out. It's a wrap right there. It's a wrap. Okay. And I'm not talking about this in terms of, there's some guys you can see missing things like that, but because of the level of talent and ability, they'll never get it. It's an NBA. This is the league. It's not like you play in high school or college and you can improve. This is the league. And you can improve, but incrementally. RJ has the talent and the ability to improve big time. If he starts to hit that mid-range floater, he gets more consistent on his 3-point shot. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Okay. Some people talking about him going to his right. I don't know what y'all seeing. First of all, if he can't be stopped going to his left, why would he need to go right? But even if they did, he does show himself strong going right as well. So I'm not worried about, anyway, RJ is going to be the deal. And so if that's the case, we have that at the 3 spot, man, or even at the 2 spot, man. Okay. So we'll be in good shape there with or without Donovan Mitchell. then you're talking about an Obi Toppin taking that next step with a real point guard. Now, this is if we trade Julius. Now, again, Mark Stein and Shams. You got two now. You got one of the three wise men in Shams, and you got Mark Stein reporting the Knicks talking to the Lakers. And Julius Randle is the player that we're talking about to obtain a Russell Westbrook, which is not really, again, somebody we're going to play. It's for the salary because we got to pay RJ this year. So if that's the case, you're going to start Obi Toppin at the 4. And again, you could a real point guard with Obi Toppin. That energy that Obi Toppin brings, that's what Obi Toppin is. He's a ball of speed and energy. Be in good shape. See, I see very similar game with Obi Toppin and Michael Porter Jr. when he's healthy. The Denver Nuggets, Michael Porter Jr. I see very similar games. Porter Jr. is a way better ball handler, but in terms of explosiveness, in terms of offensive ability, I see Obi and him pretty similar. Because Obi plays in the Tom Thibodeau system, I think he'll be a better defender, even though the Malone system is tough as well. That's what got them deep in the run in the playoffs in the past when they had Jeremy Grant. But I don't think Michael Porter Jr. is the defender that Obi Toppin is. And he's not, and Obi's just explosive, man. I mean, so either way, I would like, though, to get this done one way or the other before training camp, because I'd like the guys to be able to walk into training camp knowing who their teammates are. That's important, especially if Obi's starting. He needs to know that. He needs to be getting ready with Mitch Robb and RJ and Jalen Brunson and Mitchell, Donovan, if they're playing together. I can see that unit being really good. And then, of course, you got to establish the bench. And I don't know. It could be IQ or Deuce, one of them with Grimes, and you're going to establish the bench. And so some of you looking at D Rose, I'm telling you again, if Randall's going to Los Angeles, Rose is out. You need the salary to make that work, to get $47 million back in. So Rose is out. He's gone if they lose Randall. He'll be here if we're keeping Randall. He won't be if we trade Randall. Put it that way. Okay. If we trade Julius Randle, Derrick Rose is traded. If we make any deal for Donovan Mitchell, Fournier is traded. The salaries is what you need. And let me just say this one time for y'all. You understand? The Knicks are not in the market for Jalen Brown. And no, they don't need to talk to the Boston Celtics about Jalen Brown. The only reason Jalen Brown is on the market is because they're talking about Kevin Durant. The Knicks do not have a Kevin Durant to trade to them. I'll just leave that there. Anyway, y'all have a good Wednesday. Sure.